Hey guys, this is me just getting down with Stephen D. So I ain't been with doing this for a while, but me and my wife we thought we would come on here. It's me, Shana D. She's with me, and we just thought we'd come over and talk about some things about basically rekindling. Um, is love still here? You can look at it as does love live here anymore? But we're here to talk about it, if you will. We're gonna talk about rekindling. What you need to do, or what you should do, or just giving you suggestions. I'm not an expert on this, but just giving suggestions of what I would think, and me and my wife would think, what we need to do to rekindle, to see if our love is still there. And there's some things you should and you shouldn't do. I mean, with the experience we've had, some things that could be a problem if you allow it. The first thing we can talk about is maybe going on a retreat. If see, we know that work sometimes plays a part of not being together. Work, children, family. It's a lot of things that can get in the way. I'm busy. I'm a truck driver, and I said this before. I'm a truck driver. I'm on the road sometimes long hours, even though I'm home every day. Sometimes I don't get home enough. I mean, I'm not home. I'm like out for like 12, 14 hours, sometimes even 16. And by the time my wife, she works, and sometimes you don't get time with each other. I mean, you work all week, and in the weekend, what are you doing? You got to do stuff that you couldn't do during the week. You cleaning up, you're trying to fix this and do this. And I work 6 days a week, so I'm limited. Then on Sundays, there's we watch, we worship. On Sundays we worship. And then what's after that? You got to eat, and then what you doing? You're getting back ready for the Monday again, for starting off again the next week. So sometimes every once in a while, you got to look and say, let's do something for us. Let's take some time for us and for the couple. Um, like I said, and take off your job. Do a weekend, like sometimes I work 6 days a week, but sometimes I take off a Saturday and have a Sunday. So we sit together on a Saturday, or sometimes if you want to go out of town, or you really want to do something, get a hotel room for you and your wife, or your husband and you want to maybe take a Friday and a Saturday, and come back on Sunday. And I mean, it's just whatever you guys want to do to rekindle, to know, to recalibrate, I would say, in a sense, and just talk to get rekindled, get that fire, get that fire back. That's if you lost it. A lot, like I said, a lot of times there's work, but there's sometimes it's children. I understand when they're kids, when they're babies, when they're young, you got to take care of them. You got to feed them. You got to make sure they're off to school. You got to get them up in the morning. You got to lay them down. Got to feed them. Got to dress them. Hey, do this. Watch hangs. I'll listen now. Come over here and clean your room. I mean, it becomes a struggle sometimes. But then you forget. You forget about your spouse sometimes because it's so you're running, and then you got to work on top of that. Then you got work on top. Then you got this, and then you got that. So it's going to be a struggle sometimes. So when they get older, and me and my wife, we have older children now. Our children are 18 and 19 now. But when they're older, well, two of our kids is 18 and 19, but they still live in the house. Our other two doesn't live with us. They're grown and they're on their own. But I'm talking about the ones in the home. Um, you forget at first, when they're little, you get so used to taking care of your children, and when they get older, they gotta go here, mom, because they may not have their license, they may not have what they need, what you have, because they haven't attained it yet, but they'll get there. But sometimes we run our kids around so much, maybe to work, maybe a couple of things, and they got this and they got that. Oh, I need to go here, mom. I need to go there, dad. I need to do this, dad. Pick me up, do this. because they ain't got transportation, or they got other things, they got friends. You got to start thinking that you still need to rekindle and have a connection with your spouse. Now, the dangerous part of it is if the only connection you have with your spouse is your children, then what's going to happen when the kids grow up and they leave the nest?
You're not going to know what to do.
Okay, so the thing is, if all your connection is with your kids, so when they leave the nest, what's that mean for you and your spouse?
You don't know who each other is.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't took the time and nurtured and grow and took the time to have a bond and a relationship and to with your connection with your spouse, because you're too busy taking care of your grown kids. Now, ain't nothing wrong. I've always said this. When you get a certain age, after 18, I believe this, I can help you, but I can't take care of you. Because your kids should be able to stand out on their own 2 feet. One day they're going to leave the nest. One day. One day you should want them to leave the nest, because that's a sign of maturing. And when they start, if they get out on their own, when they eventually, and I'm not talking about kicking them out at 18, because I don't think no kid is ready at 18. I don't think they're not even ready. They just got 18. They just got into the world of I'm an adult. They haven't went through anything, not mentally. Some kids are. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some kids out there that was 18, 19 and knew exactly what to do. But some of them don't. And you still, I would say, give the kids 4 or 5 years to get their self ready before they have to get and have to get on their own. Now, they should at that point 4 or 5 years want to leave. Just being honest. I mean, because at that age, you want your own rules, you want your own space. You want to do, because, kid, I want to do things my way. Well, then, yeah, you do it in your own house. But that's just how it is. But in the meantime, you have to, but in the meantime, between taking them there and taking them here and talking to them and everything, you don't forget about your spouse. Between the jobs and everything, don't forget about your spouse. You love them, right? You said you love them, right? Why'd you guys get married? Huh? Remember when you first met and you first realized, oh man, this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. This is why I want to marry him, because I love him. You have to bring that back up. Why did I get married to this person? Now, if you don't, I hate to say this, but if you can't give an answer to that, then you guys may, I'm just saying, you may be in trouble. But if you really love your spouse, you'll be like, okay, what can we do?
You get lost in the sauce. That's what you were saying. That's why I wanted to hop on, because where you were at in your conversation, we were talking about what different meanings. We were talking about resting and relaxing. That looks different for each person, even not even as a couple, as individuals. Your idea of what relaxing is different from my idea of relaxing. Your idea of rest is different from my idea of rest, beyond the natural state of rest of going to sleep, getting up for the next day in preparation for the next day. But we have to know how to accommodate one another. We said this before in past lives that we've done about the compromise, but we're at a stage where, because of our past experiences with each other in our other relationships, things to do, things not to do. Your rest is truly, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to do what I plan to do in moderation, in my time. Whereas my rest could be doing a chore. My way of rest is, it could be, no, that's not real rest. But to me, that's how I decompress.
Everybody's
different.
I've heard TDJ say this too. He said everybody vacation or time off can be different, and that's even between you and your spouse.
I can be off and I can read a whole
Yeah.
novel.
Some people rest is I'm going to sleep because I'm always getting up early.
Mhm.
I want to just sleep. Others they want to go. Let's go here. They out of town. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go to this. Let's go to this. The other was, man, I did not come out here to sit there and go. I've been running. You got to have a balance. Now, me, like she said, I like when I'm at home in a staycation, I like to get done stuff around the house that I need to, but I also like to sit back and relax and to chill. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes it's watching TV. Sometimes it's reading a book. Sometimes I just want to sit back and in a dark room with a little light, just sit back and just lay back, with my wife. We could be watching TV together.
Yeah.
And that's me. That's relaxation right there, because I know when I go back to work, I ain't gonna have time for this.
No, what was it saying? No rest for the weary.
Right. Now my wife, she's different. My wife, I want to do this. Let's do this. Just do this. And I'm like, and coupled with everything that I want to do, it's like, oh my God, this whole vacation or this whole time I'm gonna be a chore. I don't want to do that. I want to sit back.
In respect to your time, I did take time with you.
Yes, you did.
But I gave you time to do the things that you wanted to do.
Right.
I didn't give you a honey-do list. You made your own.
I made my own.
I didn't say, hey, I need you to do this, that, and the third. I need you to go up me here, there, there. And we just took our time.
Now, some things we didn't get to.
Yeah, it's okay.
And that's okay. And I'm good with that because we're still living. We got some more time coming. We ain't dead yet. We'll get there. We will definitely get there. But I truly enjoyed my vacation. I really did. I mean, I sat back.
You didn't pack it in with a whole bunch of unnecessary noise.
Sometimes your vacation and time off is supposed to be a stress reliever. It's supposed to be easy, laid back. But sometimes it can be stressful itself if you don't do it right.
If it's not planned right.
Right, not planned right.
If like you planned a home vacation.
Yeah.
Not to go away or anything. Mm-hmm. And you did what you wanted to do. Now, there'll be other vacations where we're in preparation, mm-hmm. whether we have the young adults in tow or not. It mm-hmm. could be just you and I, but it's just the idea that in those times we have an itinerary. You have an agenda, whatever.
We went to Florida one year for a week. Let me tell you something. When I go out of town with my family, it's nice. Oh, I love it. We do things. Let me tell you something. When I come back, I got to take a vacation from my vacation. I got to have one extra day away from work.
Just to breathe again.
That I have to decompress and just relax before I got to go back in. That's just me. The older I've got, the more I've had to do this. Because I'm like, man, because I really like my home. I really do. I really like being comfortable in my home. So when I'm out there and I'm vacationing like somewhere like Florida or something like that, I come back, I got to have an extra day. So that is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But in your ventures, in your work, with your kids, whatever you're doing, take time out with your spouse. I don't care if it's one day. I don't care. And you ain't got to go anywhere. It can be inexpensive. It ain't got to be expensive, but just take time with your spouse, because when your kids leave,
it's just you and your spouse.
Or if your kids leave or you retire and you don't have no connection with your spouse.
That's scary.
Then what you going to do?
That's scary.
I know people that have stayed in it as long as their kids were in the house, as long as they had a job. But the minute all that stuff gone, now they want to file for divorce. You know why? Because they didn't have no skin in the game. They didn't have no connection. It was not a bond between.
How do you get to that though?
I
How do you get to that? How do you? Okay, so let's talk about relationship wise. Mm-hmm. How do you start somewhere where I'm so madly in love, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, and then you get to the point where you don't even know the person anymore?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can get in the way.
Fillers,
yeah. You lose. Because you don't come together, you lose connection. Then all of a sudden, you either or the wife or the husband, since their partner is not connected to them, you're not speaking, you're not really talking, and you're not going get
You're not
connected.
being intimate.
Not getting intimate. There you're gonna get into. There's other, Satan knows this too, and they start throwing people your way, and all of a sudden you find yourself what Jada Smith and them say entangled.
But you know what? Or you get in situationship.
Yeah, you get in a situation, right? You come up with a work husband and a work wife. Are you serious?
Yeah,
I'm like, no.
Let me tell you something. You better not take a play from now. So
no, that's not me.
Now, so I'm gonna be making you a plate. I'm like, here you go.
No, I'm not doing. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just saying. But me and my wife have a connection. We know we've gotten to the point of age, and we've been together a while, so that we know when we need to stop and to just say, okay, kids, y'all do your thing. Me and your mama, we gonna do our thing. We gonna date each other. You gotta date each other.
And see, that's what people forget about. Intimacy. Well, this is where we started talking. I'm like, we need to hop on and share that it's not just the sheets.
Yeah, it's not just between
it's
the
not
sheets.
The sheets.
No, that's
it's like
intimacy. That's sex. Okay.
That's the act.
That's the act. But intimacy starts.
It leads up to it.
Yeah, it leads up to it, or it can lead up to it.
Yeah.
But it starts with just you guys talking, having fun. Patting each other, you playing, talking.
Send the text messages, the conversations.
Rubbing your wife's back, or massaging your husband's shoulders, whatever. Rubbing each other's legs down, whatever.
Just
cuddling, whatever. Watching TV together while you cuddle. That is intimacy. Just sitting there, listening to some music, maybe a glass of wine. There's nothing wrong with a glass of wine. Just sitting there, just listening to soft music, just talking by candlelight. You ain't got to have light, just by candle. You can do a lot of stuff. For intimacy, but keep that fire. Whoever wants to come back to your wife or your husband. If you work so much, that don't work so.
You say by candlelight?
Yeah, or so like candlelight.
You better get the battery out right in case you type if you're like me, you fall asleep fast.
Right. Don't work so much that you lose your spouse. Don't work so much and everything gets in the cloud that you lose the person that you fell in love with. Don't do that. I've always said this: your kid's not even supposed to come before your spouse. Only God comes before your spouse. That's it. But that's why God said when he created woman and man, He said you're one flesh now. And if you're one flesh, you're one. You're not two. You're one. How can you hurt your spouse when you're hurting yourself? How can you avoid and you don't have no contact with your spouse? You're not having no contact and you're avoiding yourself. How can you do that? You can't. So take care of your spouse and you'll take care of yourself.
That's true.
That's what you do.
You got to remember.
Remind yourself.
Remember when.
Why?
Even if it's even in those moments of whether you study the word together, whether you read together, whether you're in each other's presence. Even we have to learn how to quantify quality time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, you want to do this and I want to do that, but you need to quantify your quality time. Mm-hmm. Whereas people need to learn that I can be in the same room with you in your presence, and if it's like, now, well, you're not paying attention to me or you're not talking to me. Okay, but say you're reading a book or I'm reading a book while you're watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
But we're connected as in we're touching during that time. You have to learn how to make that quantitative time versus in quality time work together.
That's
you
true.
Can still have the quality of the time. But how people think like, well, how is that? And you're doing two different things, but we're still in each other's presence.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn how to maximize your time with your mate. In this day and age, we are like in the microwave era.
Man.
We're in the era of technology. We have so many extra distractions, artificial intelligence. The distractions are out there.
They don't even date though. They don't even date no more.
You have to.
Everybody's online.
You have to know how to get that quality time, get the most out of the time with your mate. And it's a challenge. It is a challenge, but you got to learn what to do, when to do it. If we're both sitting on the floor, let's just lean in and we're watching this TV show or if we're doing housework or if he's outside doing chores in the yard, I come out and I help you. vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You come in and you
Come
help
help.
me.
Yes.
Like, okay, so my love, you got to know, and first and foremost, guys, learn your love language.
Yeah.
Learn what your mates, it could be acts of kindness, it could be physical touch, it could be gifts, it could be quality time. You got to learn the love language. You once you learn that, you will better serve your mate. You'll be more beneficial in your relationship, and you'll know what that person likes. You'll learn what that person likes, and you cater to that. Vice versa, they'll cater to you. Mine is acts of kindness. One of my first ones is acts of kindness. I'd rather you, because I can get myself what I want. He can give me what he can give me, things that I want too. But it's like I'm not hung up on materials. I never have been because I just never have been really. I like nice stuff. Don't get me wrong, and it's not. I don't live in a cardboard box. Praise God. But it's just that you have to know what gets it for me. What gets it for me is if I'm washing dishes and he picks up a broom. I love that because that's we're in this together. If I'm outside planting flowers and he comes out and he starts putting the weed killer down, that does it for me. It's the acts of that is my love language. Acts of kindness and coarse touch. And it's a mixture. I'm a blend. I'm a healthy blend of most of them. Gifts are nice, but that can wear in time go get old or be like, oh, it's just another gift, you know. But I value the little things. If you don't take care of the little stuff, you're gonna have a big problem. I think for you, yours is physical touch as well.
But if I'm out there like mowing the grass or what, I'm like you too.
You like
Same way.
acts of
And you
kindness.
come
Show me
out
you
there,
care.
come out there, you start helping.
Yeah, show me
that's
you care.
that's a big thing because let me tell you something. Nowadays, everybody seems like they're for themselves, and yeah, go out there and do that. Yes, watch movies together, but you also need your communication. Use your words.
Yeah, you have to.
Talk to your spouse because now, like she said, it's a microwave age. Everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
Everybody is so AI and all this stuff. That they got so much stuff out there. People would not even now. People want a relationship with a computer.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
You can see it. We have to literally consciously think about it when we're out. Not that it's because out of habit we have our phones.
Yeah.
It's everything's in our phone now. Our world is in our phone. It's your numbers, it's your documents, it's pictures, it's whatever. Life is in this little device that has just become an attachment as well as a distraction. But you got to think about, like you said, are we supporting each other? Intimate level is just like spiritual.
Yeah.
Is he pouring into me spiritually? That's intimacy. Is he pouring into me emotionally? Is he reassuring me in moments where I'm not feeling my greatest? Or am I reassuring him in moments that he doesn't feel his strongest?
Right.
That's intimacy. People don't realize it's more than just a feeling. It's more than just the touching. It's more than just the benevolence, the bedding. I'm just gonna keep it real. This is for adults. And you have to know that you're supported by your mate. You're cared for by your mate, whether that support is emotional and physical or spiritual. It's just a holistic intimacy is a holistic approach to relationship.
Yeah.
And are we being that holistic mate? Are we being whole for? Am I whole for you? Am I making you whole? Are you making me whole? And it's like hindsight is 2020. You can be in a relationship and think, dang, I messed that up because I could have, should have, could have. Were you not being supportive? And it's not just in a financial manner. Am I building him up instead of tearing the ego down? Am I emasculating him in public? No, heck no.
Or if
hell no, I'm not going to do that. Excuse my English, but I'm not going to do that.
Or if I'm just going to say this: more women do this than men. Women have a tendency to think negatively about themselves.
Yeah.
Am I too big? Am I too skinny? Am I too tall? Am I too short? Am I too dark?
Does this look
white?
Okay?
Does this look okay? How's it look on me? And us men, we got listen.
Yeah, I don't care.
Listen, we love you just the way you are. I tell my wife all the time, you're more critical of yourself than anybody. I said, just be you. If you don't like it, then you have to change it. I love you the way you are. I'm never gonna stop
And
loving
it
you.
is not that I'm insecure,
No, it's not an
but
insecure thing.
there's triggers,
It's true.
and you have to identify that. You have to
It's
identify
not
those
insecure.
emotions and deal with it in that time.
It's not insecure. I have watched women my whole life, and most of them, most of you ladies, y'all are the biggest critics of yourself. We be looking like you guys only care about that. We don't. That's y'all. We think we didn't marry you for that stuff. We married for you for you. So men give compliments. Love on your wife.
Yep.
Compliment her. Tell her, listen, I love you. Yes, you're beautiful. Why? Don't you ain't gotta worry about that. Always say nice things and compliment her. Love on her. It'll help her out. I'm telling you, to help her out. I know. It's listen. Don't worry about nothing. Just compliment her. Talk to her. Tell her how you really feel about her. If you love her. Now, if you love her. Now, if you don't, then you don't need to say nothing to her. You don't need to be with her. You can't do this. You don't need to be with her. Women, accept it. Accept.
If you don't like it, change it.
Yeah. Well, if you don't like it, then you have to change it. If he ain't saying nothing about it, then what are you worried about? Then that's on you, and you have to change it.
And then don't. And to me,
don't make him feel bad.
No, exactly. But I think about from a woman's perspective. If you, so we all know I'm a full figure, but it's like the first thing someone would do is to play the fat card. Can I say that? And women do that, and it's like, girl, lady, sis, do you think that really bothers me? First of all, no, because validation starts early. It starts in adolescence.
Yes.
And so, when you aren't validated, you seek that validation in other people to do it for you. Whereas you have to validate yourself. Even if you didn't get in adolescence, you can build yourself back up, whether you use professional, see a psychiatrist or psychologist to identify the emotions and things that you went through in your youth, what triggers certain emotions, and rest in it, allow yourself to feel, but move on from it. You have to evolve, or you're going to stay stagnant in that same place. But what I was saying is, like, women, we spend so much time ripping each other apart, tearing each other down because we're in the age of appearance or whatever. You're heavy. You have this. And it's almost sad when you hear another woman say that about someone else, because it's like, how do you really feel about yourself? If you can spew that stuff on somebody else, how do you feel about yourself truly? Because I have to, sometimes I chuckle about it, because it's like, you really think that bothers me? I have had there's individual that's the first comeback is, we're going to talk about weight or skin or whatever the case is. It doesn't matter, but that lets me know how sad they are as a person and insecure they are as a person. You can say all you want to that you're not, but because you can't find any other words to use in your vocabulary, you got a problem. But let's get back to intimacy. We don't want to get off the subject, because that's a topic for another day. That's a whole other topic. But when you look at intimacy, there's ways to get to that with your mate. That quality time together, touching, dancing, cuddling, emotional, whatever it is. I am what they call a sapiosexual person. Sapiosexual.
I have no clue.
Because it's more like my mind. I'm more intrigued in intellect. If you get my mind, you get my heart and soul. Because it's more than just the outward. I'm more of like, let's intrigue my brain, turn my brain on. And those are forms of intimacy as well. Discussing future plans with your mate, that's intimacy. Planning is intimacy, not just going, okay, that's fine, let's be impulsive sometimes, but let's plan something. You're not just a trip, whatever, a financial goal, or investments, whatever that is. Plan with your mate. We get so far gone with the physical act of things that we forget what led to the physical act. That's the bonus. of good intimacy, knowing you're supported, you're cared for,
And what
you're
she's
provided for.
and what she's talking about in a nutshell, never be afraid to evolve in your
There it is.
relationship.
Yeah.
To evolve in your relationship with your spouse, and not just intimately, but on all the aspects. Evolve in your relationship on all aspects, not just intimacy or in everything. You should be willing to try to see to be better for each
Make
other.
just make sure all pistons are firing. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
everything. You have to work at it. It's not easy because if it was easy, you wouldn't have so many divorce rates.
That's true. And we're products of that.
Mm-hmm.
We're products of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, we said before we didn't plan it in our past relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, but
It's sad,
we can learn from that
Mm-hmm.
and not do some of the things we did before.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying we were at fault for anything. Not saying we weren't at fault for anything, but some things you didn't understand when you're young.
Admit it. If you was wrong, admit
Be
it.
accountable.
But just don't do it again. Learn from it and move on.
You know, people think that it's oh, you guys make it look this way, and oh, you guys, yeah, thank you, we're a beautiful couple, thank you. It's hard work.
Easy.
It wasn't easy. And it's not like anybody's here by force.
No.
You're here by choice.
No. What I mean by it's not easy, it took some
We're
sacrifice.
partnering.
It's a
partner. We're partnering first and foremost. We're partnering.
You're not always going to agree. It's not always going to be howdy.
No.
You're not always going to be in sync. Sometimes you're going to argue. Sometimes you're going to get mad. Sometimes you're going to get mad and just but don't quit, because that's just momentary. A situation. It's momentary.
What do you say? It's temporary.
Temporal.
It's temporal.
Yeah, it's just for the moment. You ain't gonna be mad always. You're not. Everything has a beginning, has an ending.
If I've said it once, you guys have heard me say it on my platform. I tell, like when my friends talk to me about different situations they've been in, and even to myself when I may have gotten upset, and it may be something, and it's nothing that's like worth throwing a marriage away over, getting upset about. And it's like I have to think about, and I tell my friends this, so it's almost like I check myself in the same aspect. Can you imagine being with this person and then you throw it away and then you see that? Can you imagine this person with somebody else or not in your life or doing life without them? Can you imagine that?
You done worked all this
Can
hard.
you imagine doing life without them?
You guys have been together, worked as hard, learned each other, molded each other. You're basically molding each other. You're getting each other to where you like it, you love each other, and you want to be. You're like, man, and you worked all this for somebody else to come over and take what you did. No, I don't think so. It sounds retarded. It sounds crazy, don't it? But that's what happens in a marriage. You first get together. You don't know really each other. You got backgrounds. You were maybe raised differently. You got different backgrounds, and you're doing the years. You have your arguments. You build. You lose. You get talked about. You get praised, and you build and you build, and all of a sudden you get to a point and be like, man, you look back over your life and say, man, that was hard back then, but thank God we went through it. And then for somebody else, y'all get mad over something, and it's usually one stupid thing you get
petty.
mad at.
A lot of times you're saying the same thing two different ways.
And then you kick, and then you part, and then somebody else comes in, and you find out that they love them, and you like, wait a minute. You done wasted years because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Now, I said if you love each other. Now, there's some relationships I'm gonna agree. I'm just gonna agree. Shouldn't be, because the person wasn't ready. The person wasn't ready. You may have been, but the person wasn't ready. Now, sometimes it is you, but you have to be ready to be married. You have to want to be married. I mean, so bad that you're looking, you're studying, you're trying to see what you can do to be married, how you got to be married, because reciprocity, if it goes out, it's going to boomerang back in here. So if you want love, you got to love. If you want to mate, you have to be a mate. If you want to be a wife, then you have to act like it. And I'm not talking about giving your wifey things until the boyfriend. No, I'm talking about act like you want to be
Carry
married.
yourself as such.
But make sure that he wants to be married to you. Just don't give yourself to anybody. You're royalty. Remember, you're a child of the king. So you have to respect yourself and they have to respect you too. That's on both ends. They got to know. Listen, no, you want to do it like this. But don't be so petty and forget that you're not perfect either.
Right.
Remember that.
And
you have to agree
right.
on each other and be like, and always communicate. Don't lie to each
That's
other.
important.
Don't lie
to communicate. You have to communicate, and that's in any area. If it's like communicate, this is due. Communicate. I love you. Communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the way you did this, or I didn't like the way. I don't like
Set
what you
boundaries.
said to me.
Set boundaries.
You know, everything just doesn't go. We don't do that. But I know how we started. We have been all over the place in this, but it just started like because we are at the stage where we're getting more QT time because the young adults are young adulting. And so we're at a stage where we look at it, it's like like he said earlier, some people don't know what to do together because they've spent so much energy. And there's nothing wrong with spending time with your children, spending time on your children. But to the point where you forget about your mate because it was just you and your mate before the children came. Or you walked into a blended family. And even to that, you made the time. You still dated. You still did things. You still took, even if it's take the walk the dog.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is. But that's where we are. And it's like, man, you know, how many people have lost themselves at this stage in the relationship? How many couples have really threw in the towel at this stage where they have to relearn to be around each other again? I mean, you guys are together the whole marriage and you're going around as family, you're going on your vacations, you're having dinner, you're doing all that. But when it's just those quiet moments, when it's just you and your spouse, you got to learn to be together again. You got to remember when.
Take notes in life. Take notes and learn. I said to say this. Like I said, in life, take notes and learn. I have seen marriages fall apart that I had no clue they were even in trouble.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Some of them even hurt.
It hurt you bad as it hurt them.
But take notes and learn. Like, that's not going to happen to my marriage.
Yeah, we say that. That's not us.
You got to go back in and you got to start talking to your spouse. Like, wait a minute. What can we do to fortify this?
Yeah.
What can we do? I mean,
to reinforce
we don't want to, because you don't want to go down that road. Because again, you don't spend all the time with this person. You love this person. You know this person's a good person. You know she's a good woman. You know he's a good man. So why would you want to give that up? Because let me tell you something about me. I can't stand the dating scene. Can't stand it. Oh my God, it just drives me insane. I hated being out there.
A lot of people say it's trash now.
It was trash. It was trash when I was dating. I couldn't believe it. Some of the stuff I had to deal with. I'm like, no. And the older you get, the worse you get. Because I'll tell you, I ain't going to tolerate a lot. I'm getting too old for that. So I'm like, I am so glad that I tell all the time, I'm so glad I'm married to this woman right here. I'm so glad. Because now you don't know what you're getting.
Oh my goodness! Stop.
And no,
stop.
That's being real. I'm a heterosexual male. I love women, and I love my wife. To be exact, I love my wife. I mean, I'm not. If they want to be the way they want to be, when they want to be, that's on them. Heck, I'm not judging.
But there's some beautiful people out there.
There's some beautiful people out there, but I am me. I like what I like, and I like women. My wife. I love my wife. But nowadays, I've heard a lot of things happen. They found out that the person wasn't the person they thought it was, and I can't deal with that. So so hopping and skipping through the valleys and the lilies, I just don't do it because it makes no sense. It doesn't. It's crazy because I'm not trying to relearn nobody else. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
that because see, I'm not trying to go back and learn another
what his
person.
quirks are. He knows mine.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that. And another thing is, me and my wife were best friends as kids, so it actually really helped. It really helped the situation because we knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to guess. She didn't have to guess. It wasn't like that.
Right.
Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and cut it down.
Thanks for obliging.
We appreciate you listening.
We just wanted to invite you into our conversation, into the group chat as a new saying. We wanted to invite you into our conversation. Yeah. Just because I was like, let's just hop on here real quick and just share. There'll be more times, we'll get back to our regular scheduled program because this is going to go hand in hand in the direction that we're headed. And hopefully, in our experiences, we can help you and yours save it or, make those decisions in life or just enlighten you. So that's kind of how that was the initial plan for having our platforms, was to and maybe share from our experiences. We often wondered why we went through so much at a young age in the past, but now it's like we kind of know why we went through it.
Yes. All right, guys, have a blessed evening.
It's been real.
God bless you. We love you.
All right, until next time, guys. Have a good one.